Baseball was not only the national pastime in America, but also Black America. When Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier, but since then it's fallen onto hard times. After decades of growth, in 2014, the Society for American Baseball Research noted that baseball was floundering in the black community, with as few as 53 players in the major leagues. Since then, in 2020, that number has gone up to 80 black major leaguers, but there are still struggles to grow the game of baseball. In Chicago's black community, the game is growing, but there are issues like the cost to play baseball, the cost to play travel baseball, opportunities beyond high school, coaching, and the lack of facilities. Single parent Collage Warner, Jackie Robinson West President Todd A&T Athletic Director Ed Hilton, and volunteers Alonzo Hilliard and Freddie Hubbard try to explain the issues that they have seen while trying to help grow baseball in Chicago's black community.
Yeah, because I didn't do anything with baseball prior to.
Okay.
Not baseball. Yeah.
So it was dad. But then did you take over from dad?
I took over.
Okay.
So my dad coached him. He was his first coach, actually, until he could really no longer coach him, due to health issues. So, I kind of took over at that point. But I mean, he's always been immersed in various programs and, that has had, good coaching. And I learned a lot from the coaches, and I learned a lot from my dad as well, just watching. And plus I played tennis, so it all translates. So I had the ability to do what I needed to do as well in terms of, coaching him.
Getting coaches and volunteers has always been a challenge. This issue is something that frustrates JRW President Todd Prince.
Volunteer, we're always here. And we open to anybody that wants to help out. Any business or any organization or any governmental agency that wants to help and contribute, or, we're here. That's what we need is resources.
So
the sentiment was echoed by volunteer and head JRW groundskeeper Freddie Hubbard.
Opportunities that we want to have.
Volunteers, that's what we need. People get out there, all these players who say they want to love the game, being a couch potato, and get out the couch and come on and volunteer and do some coaching. And I guarantee that'll translate more word of mouth. We got more people supporting, and more that person come. So that's all we need. So more volunteers.
Although there is a shortage of volunteers, the situation isn't dire because of volunteers like Alonzo Hilliard.
We do get a good amount of volunteers, coaches, parents that donate their time. I'm one of those that donate a lot of my time, I come out of pocket for kids because I understand that I'm sewing into a kid's life. So if I'm sewing into what he's doing, then that means he's not out on the street.
Another issue that may deter parents from allowing their kids to play baseball is the cost. Collage Warner talks about that and being a single parent, while Alonzo Hilliard and Todd Prince expound on that point.
He is a catcher. So it is, outside of the outfield, he plays a little outfield too. He plays a little infield. He's a utility player, but his primary position is catcher. So I've had to buy all the mitts, catching gear, and don't get it twisted. Like I've had the support of my parents, as well, because it is very expensive. But his interest is not any other sport. His interest is solely baseball, and it is expensive.
Dad involvement in kids' life have definitely decreased from an African American standpoint of the number as far as kids coming out and everything. I think back then in my era, like I said again, the kids.
One of the final issues that has hindered growth of the game of baseball in the black community is opportunities beyond. The baseball community is particularly frustrated with the closure of the baseball program at Chicago State University. Todd Prince speaks about that.
Definitely, the whole community is frustrated. It seems like it was done, and it hurt the community because we have so many ball players. And we, just within our community, we could field a team that basically our kids could walk to that school. And we could field a team that could be competitive with any team in the country.
Efforts were made to interview Chicago State University Director of Athletics, Jim Chrisman, but he declined the opportunity to speak on the issue. However, North Carolina A&T's Director of Athletics, Earl Hilton, spoke on how complicated this issue may be. Hilton also spoke about what he's looking for with his program and coaches, and also spoke to how difficult it is to obtain the top African American talent. Todd Prince closes us out with the state of Chicago baseball.
11.7. It's an equivalency sport, so you've got 11.7 to spread over 35 guys.
Okay.
35 is a full roster, so other kids are there, paying their own way, trying to make the team, maybe walk-ons, but typically we care about 35 kids, but spreading 11.7 over 35 means no one is on a full scholarship in baseball.
Todd Prince offers his final assessment of the game of baseball in Chicago.
It's growing. We just need opportunity.
Okay.
It goes back to where we look, where we need for not only baseball reflects life for us. We just need the opportunity. If we get the opportunity, we've shown that we can compete, we can do well, and that's just not on baseball, but that's in education, that's in employment. We just need opportunity.
Okay.
So what do the opportunities look like for Prince and Hilliard? For Hilliard, it's about having some place to play during winter months.
A facility, an indoor facility for these kids to go. We got one that just put up in West Pullman, and that's fine. But we need more of those. I think we need about two more facilities, big infrastructures, where kids can come in and go and get that indoor training. Because like I say, we're in the Midwest, so we lose out on a few months from the hot states as far as baseball.
He would further his call to action with this.
Today.
So what do you think it'll take in order to get those facilities built? Is that a political, is that politicians, or just raising funds from the community? What do you think it'll do to get that happen and make that happen?
A little bit of both, with a little bit of part of the kids, the community going to their aldermen or their leaders in the community and saying, hey, here's an idea, what can we do to make this happen and everything. So it's going to take both sides along with some funding and everything. So because these facilities, they're not cheap, but we do need probably a couple big facilities, at least one out west, and we need one out south too as well.
Yeah, because
for Prince, it's about getting to the major baseball events to be seen. Although they have differing opinions on how to grow baseball in Chicago's black community, finances will play a huge part in either man's plan for growth.
So I'm a part of the American Baseball Coaches Association. And just last week they had a podcast with some of the coaches. We're on a diversity committee, and they were talking about keeping the African Americans in the game. And one of the young men, he played for Mizzou. He just got drafted. And they had him on as a guest. And he was a great speaker, because what he spoke about was that as good as he was able to get a scholarship to Mizzou and get drafted to play professional baseball. He said he was not the best baseball player in his neighborhood. But what he did have was some parents that were able to finance him going to these events, where the coaches, college coaches were, and where the pro scouts were. You know, whereas years ago they may have came to you, you have to go to them now.